Hello and welcome to this update about these energies, which are really changing daily. And there will be times when you feel uplifted and lighter and more informed and more in tune. And there will be times when you feel as though you've been slammed to the mat in a wrestling match and you may feel as though the wind has been knocked out of you and you are exhausted. There are also probably experiences for you that bring you to feeling as though your body is in a lot of pain, as though you've done this huge, excessive workout, which leaves your muscles tired and your legs feeling heavy. So all of these experiences and this energetic in the head, the frequencies in the head, often that sort of electrical feeling in the head and the sore muscles. Some people are experiencing a churning stomach. Some people's solar plexus are having lots of anxiety, and many of these things are really the bottom line of it relates to the fact that we are being moved a little bit like this or a little bit like this. We are being navigated by our own soul, by our own higher self, and by the divine energies, source energies, God, creator, whatever name you might give to that. We are being navigated to our new world, to our new earth, to our new way of being. And at the moment, we are in the dance of a little bit of that at a time, and often every moment, and sometimes every hour, and sometimes every day. But it's all about this movement, and we aren't sure. So we haven't been, hello, Misha, we haven't really been in this constant movement before. And so we've got very little that's familiar, that's comfortable, that makes us feel safe and secure. And so we have to come into this idea of being okay with being in flow and of using present moment as our point of stability. So that's what I would encourage you to use it as your process. So beautiful breath that brings you into present moment and just observe. Be the observer. You don't have to know exactly what is going on. You be the observer from the higher perspective, and you find the answers through how your body is giving you information. So the feedback loop from the body. Does the body feel better or worse, more comfortable, more anxious, more open, more closed, more contracted, more expanded? All of those general ways that you can be in kind of communication with your body. You use those as your navigation tools now. We're being trained to do this differently. We're certainly being trained, excuse me, I'm just trying to get comfortable here, being trained to be in the moment and to see that we are now becoming more energetic beings and more in alignment with our energetic bodies. But in the meantime, our physical bodies are going through huge change, huge transformation, and a lot of heat. So there's a lot of heat in the body. That's the heat of transmutation. You probably want to do a lot of drinking of water, which I need now. A lot of you might be having lots, like I am. But I wasn't, just as I'm starting to speak about the body. There's a lot of us who have had many past life experiences that have affected the throat. So that links in very much to past sexual experiences, the and not being able to speak, or not being heard, or not being believed. But the throat is all of the lifetimes where you have not been able to, allowed to, or had the capacity to speak truth. And that many of you, if you believe in past life experiences, and if you don't, then just let it go. it doesn't matter. But if you have, then many of you will have had experiences of having been murdered and persecuted and hung and had your throat slit and all of those physical things. And so the throat is releasing a lot of those to be transmuted at the moment. So you might be feeling a lot of that. And I want to say to you, don't get caught up with, well, that won't have happened to me because I'm a man, because we've all had experiences in our past lives where we've been masculine and we've been feminine. And so we've had the, from my experience, from my understanding, and this doesn't have to be yours, but I'm just speaking from my own experience, we've had many, many lives. We've had many, many different lives in different places, in different continents, in different languages, different cultures, and different time periods throughout our history. And so we've had all of the experiences. We've been the victim in many different ways, and we've been the persecutor in many different ways. So this is our time to own the wholeness of us, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Hello, hello, Halista. I just read your message. That made me laugh too. So we are really in the mix of it all. It's all happening at once. It's like being in the midst of a tornado, of an earthquake, of a flood, of electrical energy running around, and it's all happening at once. It's very intense and built up, and it's all about the experiences that we are going through at the moment to release from our body and from the earth to release as we're doing our deeper cleansing and coming into a higher alignment. So Margaret's just saying she's only had 4 lives on earth. So yet some people have had smaller numbers of lives, and some people have had larger numbers, and some people have had lives in other places as well. So I just want to say that, many will observe that, and I may have to do this video in 2 parts. We'll just see. That activity is occurring on many levels, and that is what Gaia would guide us to do, is to view it on many levels. So what's happening on this level? So on this higher level, we're experiencing cleansing and releasing on the earth. And a slightly lower level, we're receiving and witnessing weather interference and weather orchestration. And then on this level on the earth, that's being physically cleaned and people are being pushed and stretched. And so all of these aspects of our lives impact into and create the change, because we're in the throes of massive change. So always look for, well, this is possible and this is possible, and I see this and I see this, and this is what I feel is going on. And you do not have to come to a conclusion. It's okay to just have all the balls up in the air and not have an actual finite knowing answer. That's a perfectly, I think, rational, reasonable way to navigate through this time. So we are having activity occurring on many levels, from cleanup to the introduction and reinstatement of the new. The inadequacies are showing up first. So that's what we are seeing within self and around us. The corruption in government, for example, and government officials, and the intrusion of the woke agenda. So I was going to do a little separate thing on government, but I've decided that I'll just throw this in here. So this corruption and the intrusion of the woke agenda is becoming especially evident in sport and education, from preschool up. And here in New Zealand, we watched our government send a transgender male as a female to the weightlifting, I believe it was. I think it was that. They won a medal, and there's, this is all the meddling, that's what I would say. So from preschool up, the sexualization of our children, the transsexual agenda, the transhuman agenda, the androgynous agenda. and this idea that one has a choice. So I just want to appeal to you to be aware, to be vigilant, to if you are a parent or a grandparent, or you have responsibility for overseeing children, or if you have opportunity to observe, um, there is a system here that is, in my view, attempting to groom our children through television, movies, and books. I have made a new pledge to myself that I will not give a child a book for a gift again unless I read it from cover to cover. And yeah, this will bring us back to more community schooling, more homeschooling. Parents will, more and more parents are removing their children from this bigger system so that they have greater choice and greater oversight for what is going on for their children. So what I see is that will, that's part of our trending as a society. We will come back to having more community-based schools, more home-based schooling, more families pitching in to create their own systems. We will likely become stronger at ignoring some of perhaps the regulations. And this dissolution or revoking of what appears here, I say here anyway, in New Zealand, to be perhaps coming in through professional development courses in education as new, or I actually believe it's more a reinterpretation of the existing curriculum. So be interested to hear your comments if you work in this area. Or as your view of this in education as parents or grandparents. And what I want to say is, on this note, we must begin to have a bigger picture look at what is going on, to be the vigilant observer and to point out anomalies and ask questions, raise issues, be in that place of raising awareness, to create provocative questioning, to raise awareness so that we can get clarity about this. Hello, Lucette. So these three-dimensional pressures, they will continue to build. And always look for the whole bigger picture of it. So just excuse me while I just page through here. So government, I think that's where I am at now. Governments will, in my view, cease, this is what I've been shown, they will cease to exist as we know them and in their current form. There is, it would seem, some rather good evidence around that shows that there has been incredible intrusion, incredible bribery, incredible corruption. So as we shift to more altruistic ways of operating and living, we will each recognize our strengths and purpose and will offer this to others. And so those who come to lead, so that's how it links into government, those who come to lead will step forward because they will know that that is their passion, that is their penchant. And we will observe and expect them to be exemplary in their leadership. And because each of us will live with high levels of integrity in our new earth and authenticity, and due to our increasing abilities to read the energies, we will make good choices, we will bring things into question, we will raise the issues, we will sit in the observation with awareness, and we will see it as our right and our duty to make sure that things are in alignment, that what we came to be lines up here in our experience and with what we observe. And so if you are to be having a role in the new development, you're likely already have got some knowing of that, some awareness of this and of the how and the when. And so these, I am showing, they will all operate hand in hand with individual sovereignty. So this is a little process, or a big process, that we're in the midst of now, is us as human beings coming into our own sovereignty, into our own recognition of who we are as a being, as an energetic being, connection to self, this resourcing of self, the cycling of our own energy and knowing how it operates. We are becoming more adept at that. So these will come into creating for each of us, firstly, in that sovereignty, those personal self-sustaining systems, and then we will share this. We will work with this hand in hand in co-creation for new ways of looking at and looking after communities. And so this will be the way in which we navigate new community growth. And so what I have always been shown for a long time is that government hierarchies will become flattened. They will become a one level. People from all ages, cultures, and agendas, if you like, they will come together to share ideas and create consensus of cooperation and co-creation and how we move forward. And it will be this empowerment. It will be sovereignty and empowerment, and this way of working with having power over. That's an old paradigm, and that will disappear down the drain with the dissolution of the matrix, which we are well in the midst of now. So you be observant, take the lead when you feel that that is your place and your role, and ask the questions. Ask the big questions. Ask the big lofty questions. Plant seeds. Raise the issues and bring light to them. So here we are, in this this time of February, where we're in this month of two halves. So the first half is all about endings and completions, and so that's healing and growth and cycles. And this is what we're all doing on an individual basis, as well as in our families, homes, and communities. And so this is this energy that came through in this full moon, which was, I think, on the 5th. And what came, the energy of that and the information of that, was to use this moon to illuminate your crystal heart. We're moving from carbon to crystalline silica as the chemical alchemization in our bodies, and contemplate your loves and passions and desires. So I encourage you to do that. What is one step you can take towards the fulfillment of each of these? So that's how you engage with yourself to figure out, what brings you joy, what are you passionate about, what would you change, who would you help? As you align more clearly to yourself and to your mission and purpose, you will notice an increase in your internal light, in your own illumination, and that you will attract other people who align with that purpose. And a lot of that is going to happen over this month. So you invest in yourself in this first half of any healing or anything that you might want to learn or know or find out about yourself through self-inquiry. And you figure it out. What's left here for me that needs healing? What does bring me the biggest joy, the greatest passion, and how can I do that? And then you are starting to line up with that as it comes into your knowing, and you will attract the energetic matchups for you. So you will attract others And then that is when collaboration begins to evolve. And so we can expect that that evolution of collaboration is going to begin in the second month. And it's certainly, it might not all be wrapped up in that time, but I would say that if you have done your work, done your healing, investigated your joy, investigated what brings you, what fills you up, then in the second half, you'll begin to make alignments and connect in with others, even if it's just one more person who you align with, and then that will gather others. So keep showing up to yourself, and others will arrive to co-create with you. A word of warning to not get caught in the timing of this, but to stay in present moment, aligned with self, and just come into increased knowing that all will align perfectly and in divine timing. As you hold the vision, maintain your own authenticity, align to your highest and speak your truth. Others who have assigned themselves to do the same will come into this collaboration, and they'll begin to be drawn to you. So passion projects. So I found this significant, and if you're thinking, oh, I already heard this, it's because I did write this part in a post a few days ago. Passion projects will begin to drive or create a new elevated way of being and a higher energetic template for groups to manifest a new and more consensus world. So lots of this, completion of these endings in this first half. And remember, we're in a short month. So the first half is only 2 weeks, exactly 14 days. So I saw on the 6th, I saw all these pulsating rings coming from the earth, these magnetic pulsating rings, and they were coming from the inner earth. And then we were feeling a lot of electrical energies on that day. So on the 7th, there were these new sparkling feelings in the feet. A heightened frequency connection was coming in to the earth as these electrical energies being emitted from the aquifer tubes in the aquifer tubes and systems in the earth, in the planet. These electrical energies were being more easily discerned in the body. So you may have noticed that a couple of days ago. It is the 9th of February here in New Zealand now, and so that was my attunement on the 7th, was that those electrical energies more easily discerned in the body, and faster magnetic pulling and pulsing also as we increase our own heart frequencies and pulse. And so you may have noticed that. And these electrical and magnetic energy waves, so they were quite, I'd say, erratic, a little bit chaotic on the 7th, but they became more harmonized by the time we'd moved into the 8th of February. So I wrote here, you've been challenged by these yesterday. We are learning to adapt, and we so are, to these new and higher frequencies, these waves and pulses, and our body has shifted to accommodate these. And really, I want to say to you to be in appreciation for the magnificence of your own body, because it has been really going through it and doing so well. So it's likely now that we are in faster heartbeat and a higher body temperature, and many of you may be feeling the flow of your goddess, god, priest, priestess energies coming back in as we move more into that, returning to original divine plan blueprints and templates, the Lemurian templates. That's our earth and us returning to those. So this, of course, is what Gaia is referencing, that our planet is doing also. There was some linking into the energetics of the giants reappearing as the frequencies became high enough for those very old codes, those very old frequencies in part of our history that we don't necessarily know very much about, but we will become aware of it. I'm not trying to convince you to believe that or not. I say always sit in suspended judgment of any of these things. The truth will be shown, and so I would, Guy always says, just hold it there in front of you and don't make a judgment about it. It will come. We will be shown what is truth and what is fiction. But we are returning to these original blueprints. You could call it back to Eden, back to paradise. We're moving forward, if you like, into paradise. And so this is the earth as well, returning to the original divine templates. So this is through, in our planet and our bodies, through this deep process of purification. And it's very deep. It gets deeper all the time. As we go higher, it enables us to go deeper. And that's why we feel like we've done it all, and then all of a sudden something else comes up. It's because you have done it, but then we go to another level. So we go to a higher frequency. It enables us to find something older that maybe came in a higher frequency. But this is all about deep purification and expansion to release density and hold higher light. So these higher light codes, they keep sort of morphing and changing, but they keep getting higher and they keep getting faster. And Earth currently, well, on yesterday it was in this really big state of flux, as it was as though it was seeking to find its own balance through each of its systems. And Gaia was showing me how the deep veins, so I did do a little mini video of this exact thing that I'm just speaking of now yesterday, that the deep veins where the earthquake was came from in Turkey. So there is conversation about that being orchestrated, and there's what I say about that is that I see that is entirely likely. But this is again the levels. So let's say on one level that was orchestrated, let's say that we know that there were energetic impulses put through from various centers that kind of bounce off and throw things into the sky. So let's say or into the ground. Let's say that was what is it called? A direct energy weapon. Let's say it was that. So that's it on one level, and on a higher level, this is about release of density from the earth. And so it's very challenging for us as humans to look and see, well, it could be that and it could be that, but it can be all of it. And so this is how I'm learning to navigate this, is by looking at all of it and seeing that it can come through from many levels. And so in this higher level, Gaia was showing me that it was the release from the wars, from I think I wrote it down, thank goodness. The Ottoman period. So the Ottoman period in that area, in that region, it was I think several thousand years long, and there's lots of movement of territorial boundaries, and so across that area of our world. And Guy was saying it was the dried blood in the deep veins of the earth that was being released in that. So this is the earth finding its balance, just like us. So earth releases and clearings take place through wind and fire and water, and earth shudders, volcanic eruptions and earthquakes. Our equivalent is sneezing and colds and heat and headaches and shudders in the body and sore muscles. We're witnessing all sorts of odd weather, out of season, extreme weather. Some of this is to support the agenda of climate change. Gaia dismisses climate change as a series of cycles that are coming to a conclusion or a point at a similar overlapping time. And so we can see it from that perspective as well. We can see that we know that we're in this, well, um, let's call it a battle. It's kind of a battle. We're in this battle for love and for heart-centered against fear and the old. And so there's still a lot of fear mongering going on in our world to keep people in lower consciousness. Today, I saw that there were a very large amount of codes coming in. You may feel these as bliss feelings, as still, as dense, as weighty on the head and in the top of the spine, because they show up as very condensed. And the analogy that came through is that if you just think about how you might be feeling if you are in a last minute cramming for an exam. So those of you who've been working with energy, it will be easier for you, and think about what it must be like for people who are feeling it and not understanding it. But it was this idea that you might feel as though you've left it a bit late to study, a bit late to swat for the exam, and then all of a sudden you discover there's a whole new topic that you had forgotten to study, and that you know that there's a compulsory component in the exam. It's that, and you need to be, trying to cram that in and reactivate your neural pathways to remember the information, and you're doing it from a point of view of stress, so it's not very easy. The reticular activating system in our brain only really opens under a slightly gentler, more calm place. So total data overload, that's what we are doing, and we can see the codes that are coming in as data, it's information. The light codes that come in, they are information for our bodies, and so lots of this overload. But they showed up as very beautiful. They looked like curtains made of beautiful grasses and flaxes, covered in these gorgeous blossoms. So that was how Spirit showed me the codes today, and so that's a really nice imagery. They're very close together, so there's a lot of them, so that's why they have this feeling of being condensed and intense on the body. They also bring in the energy of the word reinstatement, these God, Goddess codes being highlighted, being activated, your memories of your lifetimes in these roles, or as an aspect of soul in these roles. You might be having dreams, you might be having visions, and if you are, just accept that it may be so. You don't have to know. Just be soft with it in your body, so you're in acceptance and allowance, not in resistance. And just be in I would say, the exploration of the qualities, of the feelings that come with those images. So this contemplation of self, this conversation with your body about it. Ask, what are the qualities? Who is the God or the Goddess that holds those aspects? Then maybe you will hear names or see faces. Maybe you'll see images or notice the feelings or qualities. Maybe peace or freedom, compassion, togetherness, higher knowing, joy. And so I'm showing that today you're being asked to find time to sit still, to contemplate the moment, to feel or notice the qualities of each moment, to maybe write them down, to examine them, to ruminate over them, to ponder. And ask yourself, how can I bring more of those qualities into my life? And how can I bring those in over the next few days? What are some tiny little actions that you can take to do that? And I wrote, perhaps it is as simple as placing flowers in a vase after you have saged the house. So that's the action of clearing and cleansing and bringing in something new and fresh and beautiful. So those small actions can create the energetic flow for where you are at and where you wish to go. So it's that idea of clearing out the old and bringing in the new. And today's a great day for doing that. And I would really encourage you to do some kind of symbolism or some symbolic act of that over the next few days. So Gaia shows me today this new light. It's a brand new light. It's our new light. It's beginning to peek at us. That was how it showed. It appears to be a white gold with a blue or purple tinge. It has qualities of clarity, of truth, of higher wisdom, of empathy, and of compassion. And these qualities, hello, Alive Thrive, hello, Sea Crystal. So these qualities are assisting humanity to more clearly step into passion and purpose. So the entirety of humanity will be feeling the pulls of this alignment with self. What fills me up, what turns me on, what rings my bells, what brings me elation, what brings me happiness, what brings me joy. And it's this kind of movement of, let the thing go that doesn't and bring in something that does. And you just this incremental little, moving the wheel one cog at a time, to help everybody to be stepping into their greater purpose, their greater divinity, their higher aspects of self. And why are you here? Ask yourself that. Why am I here? What is my purpose? And what will my contribution be to our world, to humanity? And all of this, I want to say, sits in the open stillness of this day. That's the languaging of it. I want to encourage you to breathe into that space, the curiosity of it, the joy of it, the unknown of it. And I'm also showing that the ascending group of humanity is gathering. They're gathering in position, if you like, for this wave, this love wave, this cosmic wave, this ascension wave that will come through on the heels of the sounding of the clarion call, the trumpets, the sounding of the angels, the singing of the angels. However that comes, we will hear it. We will hear it in an internal way. And so we know that is close. And that there's this continuous arrival to this. So if you imagine that you're above the earth and you are viewing, observing this huge circle of humanity who's gathered on this great plain, this huge valley between a couple of hills, and when you look at it, it's a circle of humanity that is gathered. But there are people coming down the hills from all around it to join into that group. That's the imagery I was showing this morning. More arriving. We're waiting now in anticipation, excited, and yet in stillness. We've reached this point of feeling it, knowing it. It's occurring. It's only in the timing. So I wrote this morning. What are the stories you will tell the children of our new earth? It feels very much and shows up. I feel all emotional reading this, and I was all emotional writing it as well. It feels very much and shows up as though we are in the very early dawn light today. So if you think about our new world, if you think about the incremental nature of the day coming, we're in the very early dawn light of that. The light is low in the sky, just illuminating the edges of the shapes in nature. And so I saw all of that and then, well, that is interesting. And what is that? Oh, Just shivers all over me. Oh, yeah, interesting. We will begin to see now new ways of operating, of communicating, and of being. So we can be in kind of open readiness for observing this, these new ways coming in. We'll feel them, we'll notice them, we'll observe them, we'll integrate them, and this is our. It's like our. It's as though, in a way, you could say that the we missed one window of our ascension wave, but in a way, what I was showing about it is that this enables us now to take a little bit more time. So many of you who would have like sailed through that ascension wave, you've now become much more adept and much higher consciousness, much higher frequency, much faster vibration, much more able, much more enabled, much more sovereign, much more able to be in connection with your higher psychic gifts. And there's more that have come in, more readiness for ascension, more people in that place. So that I'm showing that more of humanity will go through this ascension process without having to be taken off planet. There's more readiness, there's more tempering that's gone on. And so this is what I was witnessing this morning. Is it more gathering in this circle in the bottom of the in the plain in between, in the valley, in between all these hills and these people streaming down and streaming down and streaming down. And the collective is definitely in its awakening. And in a way, you know, I'm beginning to have this sense that in the awakening now, there may be more dissipation of anger. There may be, you know, less of that rage, that anger that often comes when we are in our awakening and we're in the dark night of the soul, and all of a sudden everything that we've believed is just wrenched away and nothing makes sense anymore. But these codes are bringing us into higher presence with self, with energies. They bring more light, more upliftment, and so we'll just hold the space for that and witness and observe ourselves and hold space for those around us. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me here. Bathe in these energies, and really, I'd say, you know, your work at the moment is to look and see, is there any more healing or deprogramming, undoing to attend to, and then on the other hand, it's about bringing in more joy, bringing in more of these uplifting moments, and to focus on those. So thank you so much for joining me. I wish you a beautiful rest of the day, afternoon, or evening, and we will speak again soon. I'm just checking in the comments here. So thank you. See, Crystal Clear is saying, hi Sharon, thank you for the energy updates from Gaia. The energy has been very dense recently. I have found love and light from London. Fabulous. That's fabulous. And Alive Thrive. Hi Sharon, happy to catch you live, sending everyone love and strength. We've got this. Yes, we so do. And Holly Star, thank you. And Renee Archner, thank you. Love to you too. All right, everyone. Catch you again soon. Take care.